why on God's green earth, if I nurture me, would I ever allow another human being outside of myself the power, the authority, or the dominion to treat me in a way I would never treat myself? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Rocky indigo soul, that means I'm chosen. DNA golden, open your dome and feel my energy.
There's been dudes who have volunteered telling women about the twin flame concept. That's what comes in my office. That's why that book got wrote. There's dudes who know about this and they tell women that, and women get into these binges of watching YouTube videos and stuff about it. That's where that becomes my problem now, because when I'm seeing that this is hurting people, like a huge number of people are getting hurt by this in a major way, that's when it's like, okay, this is my problem now. And it's like, we're going to put an end to this today. You know what I'm saying? Taking advantage of people. So introducing people to this concept just to get them stuck in this mind frame of runner and chaser so they could be with her and go back to their wife. And the chick will stay much longer because it's the thought of it being this ethereal thing. But one thing I know about God is order. Everything in the cosmos has order. If you see anything in the spiritual realm, hear anything in the spiritual realm, if it never manifests in the physical, you need to question your belief. You know what I'm saying? Like Santa Claus. Ain't none of us never saw Santa Claus, but we grew up and realized he wasn't real though. But we believed at one point in time, but it never manifested in matter. So anything that spirit tells you is supposed to manifest in matter. But when it comes to a thing where it starts to become a delusion, is when you're believing things and they're never manifesting. And when what's happening in 3D looks so grotesquely different. And the thing is that there's this whole difference between 3D and 5D. And it's like, oh, this is happening in 5D, but in 3D it's this. And it's like, first of all, what's happening in 3D is contingent upon what's happening in the ethereal side. Like if you think of the Our Father's prayer, or how we say as above, so below, as above, so below, right? So what's happening in the spiritual realm is what's reality. Everything here is the byproduct of that. So we're living in the past tense. Like our present is the past tense of the spiritual realm, right? So it's no difference. Like it's like the opposing thing. So it's like we're holding hands in 5D, but in 3D, I'm punching you in the face. It's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. But it's like when things aren't lining up, it's like if hypothetically you spend 5 years, but nothing ever comes of it. But everything in 3D with this person is moving on with their life. So this person and you have this connection, but they have dated several different people. They're dating one person now. Now they propose to this person. Now they're marrying this person. And it's like, you're still here. And it's like, but in 5D, you know, they love you. They want to be with you. Your divine masculine is telling you that he loves you, even though, you know, he spent $50,000 on the ring for the chick he's marrying, but in 5D, you're loved. You know? It's when it's stuff like that where it's like, dog. Like, let's pump the brakes. Yeah. So that's the thing I say, dude. It's like when something is causing you pain, that's when it's time to start reconsidering. When something is causing you pain. But it's like the way this is being explained to people is like the more shitty your twin treats you, the better. And that's just not the case. It's just not the case. But the whole purpose of that, like Xavier was saying, it teaches you about loving yourself. And I can't speak for everybody else, but what I can say for me is that I live in my body. I don't treat myself like that. If I don't treat myself like shit, if I don't talk to myself like I'm shit, I don't ignore myself. When my body says we need rest, I listen. You know what I'm saying? I don't treat my friends bad. Anyone that's in my life, it's like my goal is always to treat other people how I treat myself. Why on God's green earth, if I nurture me, would I ever allow another human being outside of myself the power, the authority, or the dominion to treat me in a way I would never treat myself? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't treat myself that bad. And I'm me. I could hate myself if I wanted to. I have free will, dagnabbit. I could totally do that. But if I don't treat myself like shit, why would I want to let somebody else do that? Why? What am I getting out of that? And if that were the case, it would be so much better. It would literally be better to be alone if love meant you experiencing self-love to be with someone who treats you like you're nothing. What would be the point of that? If I don't treat myself like I'm nothing, why welcome you into my life to treat me like I'm nothing? So if there was a choice between you having a soulmate, and a soulmate is a person who recognizes you for your worth and your value, that doesn't make you drunk through hoops, that doesn't ghost you. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make you wait for countless amounts of time for them to return. That's upfront with you, communicates, goes through a progressive maturation of a relationship, right? If that's what a soulmate is, a person who's going to take you on first date, second date, third date, that's going to propose to you, marry you, want to have kids, buy a home, things of the sort. Why would you want a twin flame? Why? And I'm just saying this rhetorically, because these are all questions we should ask ourselves. If that's what a soulmate is, and a soulmate is on the lower totem pole than a twin flame, it's like that's kind of masochistic, where it's like, well, you know, I kind of want the soulmate love, but I kind of want you to like degrade me first. Degrade me first, yeah. I want you to make me question my value, my worth, my upbringing, everything about myself. Make me feel like nothing. Then love me. I was just being honest, y'all. These are all things I've said alone with myself and like asked. You know what I'm saying? And if you got buku soulmates, so you mean I could have buku husbands? So you mean I could have a first husband and get rid of him and then I could meet another one? Like a second, third, fourth? Oh, we're about that life. Because you have lots of soulmates. I'm just saying. Real talk, man. We have, and I don't remember who that was they were talking about, and it was like a major red flag for me. Like I almost had a panic attack. We were talking about something in the group, and they were saying about love, like unconditional love, and they mentioned Ariel, and they were like, you know, because she had to give up her voice and her home for love. And I was like, oh God, that sounds like a really bad domestic violence situation. It's like I'm sitting here, I'm like, all of these sound like really bad domestic violence situations. But we've affiliated waiting, yearning, hoping with love. It's not that. So that's why we get creeped out by people who willingly give us love. It's like we feel we have to earn it somehow. So it's like a reward. So it's kind of like you move up in a company and like you make partner, and it's like it's great because you work there for like 10 years and bust your ass, and it's like bam, you know? So it's like with love, we put those same attributes on it, but it's kind of like, if you think about it, you'd be kind of resentful. You know what I'm saying? Because when y'all would sit on the couch and watch Netflix and tell stories and stuff about what you guys did when you were in separation, it's like, yeah, oh yeah, I remember the time we went to Bali and da, 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 da. And you're like, well, what did you do for Christmas that year? Sat at home and cried. Like it would be a lot of that going on. Well, what about for New Year's? I sat in my car in front of my house and cried. My birthday, I cried. Easter, I cried. I cried then too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You don't want anything that's gonna kill your soul, man. And that's, to me, the power that, because we had a couple of lives today, but 3 of us read today and all 3 of us got the same message. And it's talking about like stepping into your power. Dog, when you step into that power, you can't allow anybody to treat you less than anything. Like there's no question. I don't care who you are. I literally don't care who you are. I don't care what relation you have to me. If you don't respect me to the level that I respect myself, dude, I cannot fool with you. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're blood related to me. It doesn't matter. It's like, I just can't allow you to come into my space and disrespect me that way. You start to get that mentality. You know what I mean? Because you start looking like, you know, it's like somebody, oh God, and this hurts my heart so much. It's like somebody taking a pair of Louboutins and going on concrete and just scuffing the shoes like this. It's just doing that with them. And it's like, oh, no, what are you doing? That, you know, it's somebody treating you like that. Now that put me in my feelings. Put me in my damn feelings. The thought of someone treating Louboutins that way. You tiptoe when you on concrete in them shoes. You don't let nobody treat you like that. God damn it. I said. But that's the awakening everyone's coming into. And that's why I said for a lot of signs, people are going to come at you with their half-assness and you're going to look at them and you're going to giggle and you're going to be like, thank you, next. Like, no, thank you. I'm really good on that. I think you're an amazing person and all, but this just isn't going to work for me. And there was a point in time in my journey that I never thought I would have the strength to say that. I felt like if I was married, had 8 kids or something, if this gentleman were to come back and say, I love you and I want you, that I would be like, okay, I'll leave my husband and all 8 of my children. But I was really that gung-ho at one point in time. But now, dude, it's like, nah. And a realization Spirit gave me about this. If you take like $100 bill and you ball it up, you spit on it, you step on it, you know, you have a car run over it, it still has the same value. It's not what it's been through, right? But the thing that Spirit made me realize is that we've always had our same value. But the concept and way Spirit explained it to me was like, if a person that you grew up with became famous, right? If a dude you always rejected because he was like he really wasn't all that cute, but y'all went to high school together, grew up in the same neighborhood, if he suddenly becomes a celebrity, he suddenly becomes a little bit more attractive than he was before, right? And that's because he now has external material things that reflect his value, right? But prior to that, his value was the same. He just didn't have the accolades reflecting his value. That's how I look at it with this relationship. You've always had the same value, but now the person recognizes it. They didn't see it at first, but now because it's like, oh, you know, you're worth something to me now. It's like, would you still feel the same giving it to them? Because it's like, yeah, now, but I'm still kind of the same person. The same way the dude you rejected, and this is hypothetical, not saying you guys rejected a celebrity in high school, but the guy that you rejected in high school constantly, dude asked you on buku dates, you told him no every time. If you suddenly slid in his DMs, do you think he would give you the time of the day? Probably not. He'd be like, you rejected me in high school. Why are you so interested in me now? And then you'd be like, oh, I just was seeing how you're doing. Were you really trying to see how he was doing? You know? But those are the things I say to consider, dude. And it's not to say to make an indefinite decision, but at least consider. Because that's where that whole, you know, awakening process comes from. Like that self-reflection we're supposed to be doing, or checking your motives. Your truth comes in those moments. It's so much that's revealed to you. And what I feel on a core level to a lot of y'all that are listening to me right now, y'all may have thought these things before. It's been fleeting thoughts. It's things that you felt unrest in your spirit about, but you've just tossed them away. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that have to be explored. But see, that's another thing. If I don't love myself, I can't love you. I'm going to treat you like I treat myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to get blood from a turnip. And that's the thing I notice that's distorted about the mindset. It's like we put this person up on this pedestal and we're waiting for them to choose us. But it's like, how or why? Like the person doesn't see our value because they can't see their own, you know? They can't. But the thing is us seeing our own value. And it does hurt. I can tell you that. Choosing to see your value or making decisions in the direction of that, that's no easy task. It doesn't make the heartbreak stop hurting. There's no cure for that. I wish there was a cure for heartbreak, but there's not. We just have to grieve it out. We got to purge it out. You have to, you know, keep making decisions, and what's in your high is good. But know that how that person treats you is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. You know, but it's like none of this stuff is set in stone. That's the thing that I can leave you guys with. None of this is set in stone. It's not to say that if your twin never figures it out that you can't be happy. It's not that you can't be happy in the meantime, because I don't know where this whole like abstaining from things stuff comes from. It's like you can do what you want, to be quite honest. But I mean, if what you want to do is to not live or experience life, you could do that too. But whatever it is that's going to bring you joy is what you should be doing. Because like my daddy says, a watch pot never boils. So the more attuned you are to what is not, that's all you can continue to see is what isn't. You know? Get so lost and in love with your life that you lose track of time. And then you won't even notice if there was a separation or union or whatever. It's like, oh, all of these cycles passed? No kidding. Really? And you're here and you're fixed? Okay, let me make my decision if I want to deal with you or not. I don't know. Let me think about it. Oh, ghosted you. You know? When I hated myself, I hated everyone else too. And I treated other people like I treated myself, with hate. You know? So believe that. You can't love someone out of their pain. It's just not possible. You know what I'm saying? I can't make my clients heal. Doesn't matter how many theories I know. If they don't do the work, they don't change. And like I say, it doesn't happen through osmosis. That's what it is. Dude, that is so on point. That's what it is. You're selling your soul for love. And how ass backwards is that? You're selling your soul for love. God is love. But you're selling your soul to the devil in truth. So you're giving up your truth, your freedom, your life, your desires, your idea of what a future is. And you're now restraining and confining yourself in fear, in sadness, in duress, in depression, in sadness for another person who is already in darkness. So you're coming out of your light and going into the dark to sell your soul for what you think is love when you already had it all along. How crazy is that? Is it God sent? Is it God sent? No, I would not say it. No, I wouldn't say that at all. I wouldn't say God sent. No. Because maybe the original context of what this is, but what this has become now, I don't see God in it at all. I don't see God in it at all. And where God isn't is what makes me start to question things. You know? Like, I don't even see the characteristics of God in this. It's like being selfless. That's not healthy, because we look at the diet, our Likert scale. You have a person who is self-sacrificial, martyr complex, savior complex, and then you have a person over here who's like, you know, antichrist complex on two extremes of the scale. Where you want to be in any scale is somewhere in the middle. You're always going to oscillate between the two, to where it's like, you know, I'll get a little pious from time to time. I might get a little selfish from time to time, but for the most part, I'm in the middle. When you have two extremes of that is when it's a problem, because even the extreme of the light is going towards the darkness, in a sense that it's false piety, it's self-righteousness. You know what I'm saying? And the whole concept, and that's why I say it's a lack of understanding, because the whole concept of unconditional love or self-sacrifice, it's like, why? It's like, if you wanted a person to love you, the worst thing that you could do is self-sacrifice. People naturally are irritated by people that chase after them. And then if you think about a person who has a poor self-concept, they value you even lower than them, because they feel like, I'm nothing and you're chasing after me, which really means something is wrong with you. Like, that's literally how people rationalize stuff. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, I say selling your soul in a proverbial sense. I don't even think it's possible to actually sell your soul. But selling your soul is more or less a euphemism for doing something that's out of alignment with your truth. Not legit selling your soul, just proverbially speaking, in a metaphorical sense. You align with what, of course, aligns with you. But I always say I play devil's advocate. Just gives you things to think about. So when you make your decisions, you know that you've weighed all options and all viabilities. But to say it's a godsend, I think the concept within itself, in its purest essence, and the fact that it's two people that are woke AF that come together in a union. They've embodied the love of God within self, right? Each person, and now they can love each other with the love of God and show that to the world. They're both privy to what their callings are, and they're able to step into life as a force to help people to do what it is that they've done. Twin flames in that concept is absolutely a godsend. Absolutely. All of that other stuff, I don't know about all of that. But that's what I see twin flames as. It's two people who are woke. But I mean, and I guess this is me getting in my 3D mind, because the thing that I always thought is, I've been on this journey, and I mean of myself, my spiritual growth path, for a long time, well over a decade. And if I had a twin who's done no work in that direction, and like 13, 14, 15 years down the line, he starts doing that work. So that would mean I'm 15 years ahead on my growth process, and he's 15 years behind me. So every download, revelation, upgrade I've had, he has to go through all of those. So that means how I see life and how he sees life are two totally different things. And that's when I started thinking like that. I was like, that's kind of scary. And now that makes you unattractive. It's a dichotomy framework to understand things within. But nah, man, I thought about it and I was like, that's crazy. Because a big deal breaker for me is a person's spiritual awareness. Because if a person doesn't see things, not seeing life or having the same perception as me, but it's like, if a person is like not spiritual at all, that would be a problem for me, because they wouldn't understand how I maneuver with stuff. It would be a point of contention a lot of times. Like, why are you lighting candles when the light bill due?
Energy. About to get in and fuck up the industry.